History of the worship team in JPCC first started with, what was that a special name for it? Was it GMB, is it?
No,
No?
no, 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 no.
Okay, you maybe...
Voila. See, you asked me not to talk, and then now you're asking me to talk. Pastor Gilbert, man. So, the GMB started back in 1996. I'm so sorry. It's really long time ago. And that was me, Daniel, and a few other members. But JPCC itself started out as a Friday night fellowship. It was called JPC Youth Ministry. On Friday nights, we were not a church. We only became a church back in 1999. But the first couple of years, we were a Friday night fellowship with Pastor Jeffrey Rahmat, who was not a pastor back then. He led the fellowship on Friday nights. And even before we became a church, we started another team called the True Worshipers, which were part of the worship team of the JPC Youth Ministry on a Friday night. So, yeah, so we have been together as a worship team for quite a long time, about 19 years together. So before we were a church, we're celebrating our 17th year as a church this year. So that's pretty much the history. And for some of them, I think the only ones that were there right from the beginning is Daniel Sigarlaki and myself, because we were there right from the beginning. But then these are some of our, second generation, third generation, fourth generation worshipers in our church. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. So, we're going to just get them to talk. Yes. Daniel, being the man of the group.
Let's sleep.
Missing phone. I have it here.
Whose phone is that?
It's a Samsung. There's a picture of a dog at the back. Okay. Okay, Daniel, you are 123 years old.
Yep.
So you've been in JPCC for a long time. Can you just share with us what keeps you going today? To hang out with all these people, to play guitar, to worship after all these years. What keeps you going?
Because, okay. Bahasa Indonesia ya, bahasa Inggris. It's long ya. Okay. Yeah, translate there.
Translator.
Okay, I'll translate.
And what's your name, translator?
Alfred.
Okay, Alfred.
Ya, jadi pertama sebat apa? Ngantuk juga nih jamnya.
Okay. So the first thing.
Ya, pertama ikut join dengan GMB itu waktu itu tahun berapa ya, Sid? Lupa, Sid.
We started the band 96.
Ya.
So yeah, they started out the band called GMB. He first started out join in 1996.
Waktu itu masih di sekuler.
At that point in time, he was being in secular world.
Masih terlibat dengan drugs.
Very much involved in drugs back then.
And terus pelayanan diajak dengan Sidney dan kawan-kawan.
And he was being invited to minister together with Sidney and friends.
Dan merasa bahwa this group itu beda.
He felt that this group was being very different.
Dan sampai itu akhirnya saya bertobat.
And so since then he started to repent.
And sampai sekarang saya tetap di.
So until now, he's still being in JPCC and long following throughout till now. So that's the story.
So why continue? What keeps you driving?
Kenapa terus?
Because ya Yesus lah.
Yesus lah.
Yeah, it's simple like that.
Simple
It's
answer.
just as simple as that.
That's good.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's good.
Ya, dia berkorban lebih banyak daripada saya.
He sacrificed for us more than we sacrificed for him.
Good question. Good answer, sorry. Good question.
Yeah.
Everybody is sleepy.
One more question for you, Daniel.
That's okay.
over 20 years, 1996 to 2016, 20 years already. All the changes, you've seen many changes.
Yeah.
How do you keep the main thing the main thing?
The main thing.
Jadi bagaimana caranya yang penting tetap menjadi penting.
So Jesus is the main thing. So how do you keep everybody on the same focus as you?
Ya, tentang di JPCC itu pengajarannya mengenai generation dan generation.
So in JPCC, the value of it is which is generation to generation.
So Sidney memberi contoh pada saya bahwa untuk mencintai next generation.
So Sidney gives an example to him how to love the next generation.
Dan it's to my heart too.
And yeah, to his heart.
Awesome. Then with that, you can pass your mic to someone to answer the next question.
Okay.
Who? Choose somebody.
The next.
So that's Andre.
Cool. Okay, please think of a question now you want to ask, all right? And then I'll open up to you shortly, okay? Okay, not yet, now. No, different question. Easy one. Sidney shared yesterday that you write top 10 songs in Indonesia. So I'd like to hear from you. How do you get inspiration and when do you write songs?
Wow.
And who was your role model?
My role models are Mr. Sidney himself and Sari Simorangkir. Okay, how to get inspirations? Pastor Jeffrey once said, we can get inspiration from everywhere. The main concept is what you put in will go. What goes in goes out. So make sure we put good things, good melodies, good readings, everything that is nice to our system. So that's the main concept. Besides, I have to keep myself updated with the trend, the melodies, the beats, and also the one of the important thing is keep my heart open for critics and feedbacks, and I got that a lot. So that is, yeah, that is it.
How do you respond to the critics? Very painful, but how do you respond?
The sign of, okay, maturity is a choice. Mature people can handle critics. I want to be mature. It's a choice. That's a principle. Yeah.
From a matured man. Maturing man.
Soon to be.
You can pass the mic to somebody. Who do you want to pass to? Oh, by the way, today is his birthday, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's Josh.
Day to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to Josh, happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
He's single but attached. Can be arranged. Josh, when you in 1996, you were 6 years old.
Yeah.
Were you in church when you were 6 years old? Were you in church at the time?
In my old church.
Okay.
It's a different city.
Okay, when you
I'm
were-
not living in Jakarta.
So when you were in JPCC, how old were you then?
In JPCC?
Yes.
Umur berapa masuk JPCC?
Yeah, I think 17 or 18.
Okay, 17, 18. When you first entered the church and you look at all these legends, Sidney and Daniel, how did you feel?
Bagaimana rasanya melihat legenda-legenda?
It's I've been listening to GMB and True Worshipper since my junior high school. I think watch him doing the solo guitar in East Malaysia with Sidney and Pongki. Yeah, then came to JPCC. Then I meet Sidney and Om Daniel himself. They are very humble and I look up to them.
So can you share with us your experience of how were you welcomed into the JPCC worship team and how was the whole process?
Yeah, at the first time, I came to the first audition, the first music audition, and I failed the audition, but because I consistently attending the youth service and serving like for the sound ministry with Yumir. Yumir is my mentor and my friend at the first time while I came to Oxygen.
Awesome.
Yeah, Yumir, Umbu. Yeah.
Oxygen is a youth church.
Yeah, Sidney are pastor for
Youth pastor.
Oxygen.
Yeah. Was.
Yeah, I keep the consistency and keep learning from them, starting with the first tour with Daniel and Sidney. I as a Rodis is crew for Daniel, for Sidney.
Rodi means you carry all the guitars and the bags.
Yeah, for cabling crew. Then I keep the consistency and keep learning from them. Then maybe he's looking for me. Yeah, I think the boy is good lah. It's okay lah.
Thank you. Umbu. Same question. When you first came to JPCC, when you want to be involved in the worship ministry, how do you feel?
Is it okay, guys? I use in bahasa.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Tapi ngomongnya pakai bahasa Inggris. Oh, okay.
What was the question again?
Question is, when you came into JPCC for the first time,
Waktu
how old were you?
JPCC, umur berapa?
How do you feel?
Bagaimana rasanya? So
Pertama,
he was 20 when he first joined.
pertama kali saya ikut ada satu ibadah pemuda di JPCC.
So the first time he joined, he went into the young adult service.
Oxygen.
Back then it was called Oxygen.
Dan di situ pertama saya belum punya kerinduan hati, punya kerinduan untuk bisa melayani.
So back then when he first joined in the service, he did already have this longingness to start to minister, join in the ministry.
Jadi selama itu saya mengikuti setiap hari Sabtu ibadah pemuda di gereja di JPCC.
Every Saturday he would then follow the service, Oxygen.
Dan selama itu kerinduan hati itu semakin luar biasa untuk bisa ikut terlibat dalam pelayanan.
So then the
di
longingness
JPCC.
starts to grow every time he's joining the service.
Dan ada satu kesempatan di mana JPCC membuka satu audisi juga.
So there was a chance back then it starts to open up an audition for people to start joining in.
Dan sempat gagal.
And he did fail the first
Dan
time
saya
too.
coba lagi.
And he tried again.
Ternyata bisa diizinkan untuk bisa mengikuti praise and worship team.
It was accepted, joining into the praise and worship team eventually.
Ya, sampai sekarang.
Until now.
Thank you. Yay.
You're welcome.
Umpu is single, right?
Yes.
Very single, okay.
And available.
Thank you. You can pass your mic to somebody else. Yeah. Yes, Rian.
Yes, Rian.
Same question.
He'll speak in English.
Okay.
So actually, I joined the praise and worship team. I think I'm the newest member of all. Yeah, I just joined like 4 years ago. So I've been ministering with JPCC since 2013. Back then I was 23. Now I'm 26. So there's the different age with Sidney's and Daniel. Actually, when Sidney's first ministry in his life, I was just got born. So, so first of all, I came to JPCC with my friends. So she asked me to. She was a friend. She was a friend. Yeah. A friend.
Friend.
Start from a friend, all right? So yeah, I also went to the young adult service. At the time, Pastor Jeffrey is preaching. So I didn't know that the praise and worship team is actually the true worshipers at the time. So I feel, wow, so Sidney's churching here. So, and I just came back every single week from since then. And one time I got information from my friends, so they opening an audition. So yeah, she asked me to so join the audition. So at first I felt no lah, I can play lah like these legends. So yeah, but I feel encouraged back then, and I joined the audition, and I got accepted. From them, I learned a lot from my mentor, my leaders. I feel accepted in the team, and the leaders just give me more chance since then until now. So I became what I am today. So yeah, I feel grateful for that.
Thank you, Rian. Alfred, this is for you, Alfred.
Yeah.
I noticed that there's a common trend about mentor and mentees,
Yes.
a very strong culture in the worship team and in the church as well. Can you just share with us here, what is a mentor-mentee relationship like?
Okay, so right now it's pretty new also. Since I think a couple of years back, Sidney and the team, they started to basically make a team. What we call them team leaders. And then from the team leaders, you have the core teams. And it started out with only a couple of people handling quite a few things. As you know, in a praise and worship, let's say we're talking in a praise and worship setting, then you have singers, you have worship leaders, you have all the instruments, basses, drums. And as the team starts to grow, we realize the margin starts to grow in terms of relationship from one person to another. And that's where they realized that, and they quickly implemented this system of team leaders. This is talking about the main service. I'll get to the youth. In the main service, then we have this whole team comprising for about 200 to almost 250 people.
Wow.
including choirs and all that people. And slowly as the team starts to grow, before the margin gets bigger, we start to implement more. And they trusted us to put up more leaders. Doesn't matter if they're up to it or not. Doesn't matter if they're ready or not, because most of the time they're not ready. I was not ready. And suddenly it was just, hey, you're the team leader for the worship leaders. And like, okay, what am I supposed to do? I don't know. Do something. And and because of that setup, we always remember what Pastor Jeffrey is talking about. Talking about relationship precedes the ministry. Yeah. So we start with that concept. We start with that, and we think, you know what? Forget about systems. Forget about what they should do, what they should not do, SOPs and all that. Let's just get to know each other. And instinctively, the dynamics of the team starts to grow. We start to initiate how the team should be in this. And we are now the ones that are giving back to them. Hey, I think the team should do this. We should do this. Long story short, we have team building nights once a month. What we do in the team building nights is that everybody come in together. He will share his visions. Sari Simoranki will also share her visions. And then we'll break up into groups. And each instruments, team leaders will then huddle up with their own instruments. Say, for example, basses, drums, guitarists. And in the huddle, we'll just basically share what we are experiencing through the month, the week. Anything that they need to be prayed for. We want to be opening up more like accountability, so that we can know what's going on in their lives. And the team starts to grow really big. It's very hard for us to sort of get lost. It's easy to get lost in that sense. So we have to be consistent in trying to find and trying to build that relationship between each other. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Any other here who wants to share about that mentor-mentee relationship?
Tentang mentor. Bang Daniel. Here he goes.
Ya, kita membuat sistem ini seperti mentoring.
Yeah, we make this system mentoring system.
Ya, itu bukan hanya mentor aja.
Not only just mentor.
Tapi kita juga bagi hidup.
Yeah, we give life. We share experiences.
Kita mau tahu hidup dia bagaimana.
We want to know how's that person's life.
Dan begitu kita tahu, kita langsung share pada team leaders yang lain. Semuanya.
And once we know, we'll share it with all the team leaders.
Ya, terus kita juga ada core team yang core leader ya.
Yeah, we also have core teams and core leaders.
Ya, kita bisa share di situ dan kita bisa pray for them.
Yeah. Like we will share and we'll pray for the people that need to be prayed for.
Dan kita terima informasi baru, sesuatu yang baru dari luar atau dari kita bisa share sama-sama.
Every time we get new information, then we would be able to share it together. Everyone would know.
Kadang-kadang kita nonton bareng-bareng sama-sama.
We would go out together, we watch movies together.
Ya, ngopi bareng-bareng.
Coffee together.
Nggak hanya main hari Minggu dan.
It's not just about on Sunday service.
Ya, seperti itu.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah, I got to experience that firsthand when it came once to KL in 2010, I think. See, the first thing when Sidney came to my car, hey, Gilbert, can we watch a movie during our trip here? I said, what? So early you want to watch a movie for me doing a ministry? But because was there a ban for movies in Indonesia? There was a ban because the cinemas didn't pay the taxes, so the government banned the movie operators, the cinema operators. So we watched Green Lantern together, and I got to see them just being themselves, hanging out together. Just making fun of each other. This is who they are. So what you see is what you get. There is no sense of aloofness. There's no I'm better than you kind of a feeling. And I really appreciate about this team and the whole church as a whole. How do you get that? How do you achieve where you are today? I'm just very curious.
Anybody?
To be buddies and not to just
Bagaimana?
How do you be friends? How do you be friends?
Be friends with
Each other and not competing in skill or.
well, some of us have the same hobby, same favorite TV show, toys like Kak Sidney. Yeah, maybe that kind can make we feel connected each other. Yeah, non-formal things, I think.
Think more about authenticity. We've always tried to talk about, even in our own teams, we keep reminding ourselves about authenticity, that we don't put on this mask, whether on platform or off platform, being whether if it's the same team again and again or not. Of course, there's always frictions. Of course, there's always conflicts, and the conflicts are good. They are there to build us. It is also for us to show who we are. As we grow closer, yeah, we definitely have more conflicts within. But then the team would be very grateful for our leaders. I think it starts off with that, being the exemplary. He showed us who he is off or on stage, doesn't matter where. Bang Daniel would do the same, Sari Simarga would do the same, even Pastor Jeffrey would do the same. They are who they are, and that examples flow down to every one of us, and we sort of catch on the wave and just do it, If you were to ask, like, would there be cases if someone is off the team because they're not this and that? Yeah, probably, but it is what we are. We're not trying to be exclusive. We're definitely not. And 200 people, do we know each one another? We try to build that margin closer to each other. And as the team grows, then I guess we always keep reminding ourselves about authenticity. That's about it.
Yumir. Are there females in JPCC worship team? Are there females in JPCC worship team?
Yes.
All men here. Where are the females?
I asked Sidney yesterday why you don't bring any female in every tour. It's all male.
You're right. Cool. Can you just share with us that you mentored Josh just now, right?
Yeah, not really in
connected.
Like we do like this time as a mentor and mentee, but I know Josh since when I visited to Cirebon. Different
Cirebon
city.
is a sub-city outside.
Central Java.
Yeah, still within, outside of Jakarta, suburb.
West Java. Yeah. He was still in Cirebon at the time, and I visited Cirebon with through Worshipers Youth. It's similar like JPCC Worship Youth at this time, and we met up and we talked much, and after that Josh came to Jakarta and he joined to JPCC. Yeah, we don't have a officially mentor and mentee like what we do as a team leader and all the team members.
So am I right to say that you just naturally look out for people who are new in church?
Yeah, just naturally being a friend.
Mungkin kita nggak ada bilangnya mentor dan member, nggak ada gap sebenarnya. Kita is friend.
Yeah, so they used to not well, until now still it's just a matter of names, but they don't put up this gap between who is a mentor and who is a mentee. More like friend. We build friendship relationship.
Not, it's only the apa ya, title.
Yeah, it's not about the title, not about who you are.
It's about apa tanggung jawabnya aja sebenarnya.
More about the responsibilities that everyone have.
But secara sehari-harinya not like mentor and member.
Yeah, not in everyday lives we don't build a relationship between a mentor and a mentee. More like friendships and relationships. Doesn't matter the age if you see.
Chris.
Choi. Chris Choi.
Yeah, tell us what you do here.
I'm Christian Choi. Saya sound engineer.
He's a sound engineer
di gereja JPCC.
In JPCC.
This is your third time in DUMC?
Berapa kali DUMC?
Third time.
Third time.
He came to help us with our recording 3 years back. It's so long ago.
5 years.
5 years? No.
Yeah.
4 years? 2012. 2012. 4 years.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Hah? Not 11? Bukan 11 ya?
Bukan.
Okay. 4.
4 years. He looked the same.
Because I'm always young.
You're always young. Oh. Are you single?
Dangerous. Can be arranged.
Okay, what we'll do now is we'll open to the floor. If any questions, please come and ask. And any of them will answer whatever questions you may have. Yep. Anyone with any questions? Yes. Please state your name and where you're from.
Hi, I'm Kumar. I'm from DUMC.
Hi.
Okay, youth, right? All of y'all are very youthful and y'all are in the team and all that's very commendable. And I want to know what, we know that the driving force is the Holy Spirit and is Christ and leaders and all that. But personally, how do you keep yourself together and away from, nightclubs, discotheques, people go, they have fun. How do we get that crowd in here? How do we minister to them to get them to come here? Because that is the majority of them that's out there. And how do we get the fire that's going on here to catch on there? So that would be your message to the people out there. I want to know how you do that.
So, anybody? Sidney will do.
Very good question. It's not a question just for the praise and worship team, but it's for the rest of the church. We as Christians, how do we impact the world and bring it out there in the world? For us, it's pretty simple. We just have to be an example wherever we are. What we do as a worship team, of course, it only revolves around the church. But for many of them, they are in the world. They are in the marketplace. Daniel himself is still playing with a secular orchestra in the world where he is very much in a relationship with other musicians, other producers, and other singers, entertainers in the industry who are not Christians. And for some of them as well, I know Rayan does as well, Umbu as well, he's in the wedding industry, in the wedding entertainment industry, and I know Andre. So all these guys, they're pretty much in the marketplace as well. So it's not a matter of how do we bring them, but how do we, as we go out there in the world, we can shine, as in the Philippians 2 says, that we should shine like stars in this crooked and perverse generation so that we could shine like stars in this dark place. So it's always that tension, push and pull. I know we can't, as a church, we cannot enter a nightclub, so to say, and say, we're JPCC worship, listen to our music, because I don't think they're going to listen anyway. But if we, no matter, what circle within our lives and within our marketplace, wherever we're placed, if we can be an influence, Because like what Pastor Jeffrey said earlier today, leadership is always about influence. And if we can push that influence out there, then all they have to do is just see our lives and see if we're authentic. What Alfred said, it's the core for us. I always tell the team, this has been kind of like our motto. The goal is not perfection, but the goal is authenticity. It translates into our songs, into our music, into our friendship and relationship, that the goal is never to be perfect. We're not here to be perfect, but we're here to be real. So whatever songs we write, whatever lives we live, whatever jobs we have, it's just a reflection of Christ within us as we go out there in the world. I hope that answers your question. All right.
I see my wife nodding in agreement, so she's like, good answer. Any other questions? Yes, one in the back there. Yeah, thank you. State your name and where you're from. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sharon from DUMC.
Hi, Sharon.
Just out of curiosity, what is the one biggest challenge you have overcome as a Christian and a musician, and how do you do it? Anyone can just share an example or something.
Ada? Siapa? Sebagai musisi, sebagai Kristen.
Can I pass first?
Anybody? Anybody? Silakan Koko.
You can stand. You can stand and step forward if you want to.
One of the biggest challenges for us as being comfortable, being too familiar with the songs, with the routine. That's why we have to remind ourselves that why do we do what we are doing? It's kind of tricky, you know. You have to push yourself, to challenge yourself to beat your wrong mindset about boredom. Yeah, for me, that's one of the biggest challenge for me.
Anyone else?
Bang, anybody?
Want to answer?
Ya, kalau untuk yang di sekuler,
for usually the one in secular world,
sebenarnya kita kalau kita tertanam di gereja dan punya relationship dengan Tuhan lebih dekat,
if we're planted in a church and we have a very strong relationship with God,
saya rasa masalah itu nggak ada sih.
There shouldn't be a problem with that at all.
Ya, untuk sekuler seperti itu. Cuman kalau dalam pelayanan,
but if it isn't within ministry,
yang paling berbahaya yaitu comfortable.
Then the most challenging or the most dangerous would be being too comfortable.
Ya, seperti yang Andre bilang, itu yang paling berbahaya sepertinya.
Just like what Andre said, then that would be dangerous. If that answered the question.
One more.
One more.
Banyak sih sebenarnya.
Actually, that's a lot.
Tapi mungkin yang ada lagi yang lebih penting adalah ketika kita ada di satu komunitas yang sehat.
So actually, probably the more important part would be if you have a right community, right
di mana orang-orang yang berada di sekitar kita,
whoever that is around us,
bisa saling mengingatkan,
can remind us,
dan di situ harus ada keterbukaan juga.
There also has to be an accountability, openness within each other.
Di saat kita mungkin menghadapi masalah tersebut.
At a time where we are experiencing some problems.
Jangan kita jadi tertutup.
We shouldn't be closed up.
Tapi kita terbuka dengan teman-teman di sekitar kita.
But we can be open to our friends that is who are around us.
Itu salah satunya sih.
So yeah, that would probably be one of them.
Thanks so much. Okay, next question.
Go on.
Okay, hi, yeah, same, Yao from SSMC.
Yes.
Yesterday, I've been thinking about it, and you mentioned comfort. The other thing that I've been struggling a lot with, especially younger musicians, and maybe less mature musicians, is the issue of pride. Because we know we are very susceptible to it, because we're a frontline ministry, we're up there. So, do you guys have any stories to share, any ways which you can help, especially young musicians who, in terms of their skills, they are mature, but maybe in terms of their walk the Lord, they are not as mature? How do you have instances where you dealt with this? How did you go through it?
Anybody? Kesombongan, pride. Bagaimana deal dengan seseorang yang pride-nya ada, tapi skill ada juga, cuman mungkin belum terlalu mature dalam perjalanan dia sama Tuhan. Biasanya bagaimana kita handle? Balik lagi ke Om.
Kita punya istilahnya ada kebudayaan di JPCC.
So we have this culture in JPCC.
Ketika kita udah di altar atau di atas panggung.
So whenever that we are up on the platform,
kita itu jadi pelayan.
We are there to serve.
Ya, dan kita harus membuang pride kita atau jabatan-jabatan atau title kita.
So we are just throw it out the window, but all who we are, our titles,
kita
everything.
menjadi pelayan dan menyembah bersama-sama.
And we are there to serve, and we are there to serve together.
Bukannya nggak ada juga di JPCC.
Of course there are instances like that in JPCC.
Cuman mungkin karena kita punya sistem kekeluargaan.
And maybe because we have this one as like a unity as a family.
Dan contohnya banyak dari leader-leader kita.
There's a lot of examples from the leaders.
Dan akhirnya pride itu mungkin kebuang semua sih sebenarnya.
So eventually all those things such as pride will then.
Tapi musisi emang setiap musisi ada pride.
So you're talking about musicians, then you would have some pride in every single musician.
Sangat tinggi.
Very high actually.
Yeah. Buat ketika kita dalam pelayanan, kita harus mengejas semuanya.
So when we are serving together, then we have to adjust.
Tidak membuahi pride itu sendiri.
Then we would not be able to bear fruits of that pridefulness.
Sinap.
Does that answer the question? Or anybody else?
Imagine we as the weapon for God to use. Have you ever seen a sword? A sword has two parts.
Two parts of a sword.
One is the sharp,
the blade,
the sharp thing,
the blade,
and one is the handle,
the hilt.
The handle talks about character, and the sharp edge talks about skill. So we have to make it balance. We cannot walk to the battlefield by only holding the
hilt,
the
handle hilt,
the handle, and say, "See, I have a good attitude. I'm humble, but we don't have skill." And the other way around. If we go to the battlefield without the handle and only holding the sharp edge, we can hurt our friends and we can hurt ourselves. That's number one. Number two, everything is about relationship. So if you want to impact or influence someone, make sure you have the relationship first. I studied a theory. It's called ATM theory. Do you know ATM? Do you have ATM here in Kuala Lumpur?
Yes.
So, if imagine you want to withdraw your money. What is the most important thing? What? Okay, the card. Yeah, can. You have you. Okay. Yes. Yes. You have to have the balance. Yeah. Right? Right? That's the first. Second, you have to have the card and also the pin. If you do not have the balance, although you know the pin or you have the card, you cannot withdraw the money, right? So, if you want to give inputs or you want to criticize someone, make sure you have the deposits of praises first before you criticize. The second theory is a hamburger theory. You know hamburger? Hamburger? You don't know hamburger? Ah, you lie. So, hamburger has, every hamburger has two loaves, buns, sorry. The top buns and the bottom buns. Inside is the meat. The meat. The meat is the critics, the inputs. The buns are the praises, relationships. So if you want to criticize someone, make sure you embrace them first, make them feel secure, make them feel accepted, comfortable, and then you give inputs. But do not stop there. After you give inputs, close it with another bun. Praise and yeah. That's hamburger theory.
And you'll become like him. No, I'm joking.
Good. Any? I saw your okay, Keith. Yeah, Keith.
Yeah, Keith.
Testing.
Yes.
Hi guys, Keith from DUMC here.
Sup,
Just
Keith?
now, like Andre mentioned about the sword as a skill, and my question is how, because you guys are so big as a ministry, how do you sharpen that sword? How do you equip your members with skills? And I just wonder what kind of system do you do? Like you mentioned the mentor thing. Other than that, do you go external? How does it work internally? Just so your ministry can grow together. Thanks.
Bagaimana menyamakan, mengasah skill kalian bersama supaya semuanya bisa bersama-sama maju. Ceritanya.
Yeah. For sharpen each other. Yeah, I think. Yeah, we can share some. Apa ya? Gue pakai bahasa Indonesia aja, gue ribet jelasinnya. Iya, buat mengasah skill pasti kita harus sama-sama berbagi dan sama-sama menerima.
So when we are to sharpen our skills, we have to each other share and also accept.
Seperti saya di youth team.
For example, him being in the youth.
Kita me, Josh, Umbu, Ryan, Irwan nggak ada. kita semua pelayanan di youth.
So the four of them, Josh,
walaupun
Umbu,
muka
Ryan,
kita nggak youth lagi.
May
Dan
not
umur
look like
juga.
youth, but
Tapi cara kita share ke mereka, cara kita ngasah skill mereka, salah satunya dengan mentoring atau coaching.
Okay, one of the ways that they are to teach what they have, or they share what they have in as skills, then they would sort of do a mentoring system, a buddy system like. Yeah.
Pastinya pertama kita kalau menemukan sesuatu yang baru, skill yang baru, kita coba dulu, kita latihan dulu bersama. Setelah itu kalau misalnya emang skill ini baik, bisa di-share ke yang lain, pasti kita share dan kita udah siap buat ngajarin itu.
So every time they want to share, before they share some skills, they already have experience with it themselves. They already test it out themselves. They share it out within amongst who they think they can share with. And once the skills are good to go, then they implement it within the team to every other musicians.
Iya. Dan zaman sekarang skill nggak cuma yang berhubungan sama skill as a musicians, but skill zaman sekarang itu berhubungan erat sama teknologi.
So skills nowadays are not just talking about what you can do as a musician, but it is very much implemented together with the technologies that is being implemented in every day of our lives.
Ya, di zaman musik modern sekarang yang kita share sebagai skill itu bukan masalah pengetahuan kayak contohnya bisa main chord yang susah-susah atau misalnya main jazz, tapi kita semua bisa explore something yang baru dan kita sama-sama share itu. Even boleh di-translate dulu deh.
So in the modern times nowadays, we're not talking just mainly how we can play, for example, a chord or a hard chord, jazz chord or whatever, metal shredding, but we're talking more about how we can go in one team and we explore, say, sounds, synths, stuff like that.
Iya, contohnya kayak aku sama Om Daniel, kita punya apa ya? Istilahnya apa ya? Cara explore teknologi itu sendiri.
So,
dan aku, Daniel, Yumir, semua punya cara explore the teknologi itu sendiri. Irwan juga, dan akhirnya kita share sama-sama dan hasilnya kadang ada yang kita udah tahu dan kita belum tahu. Kalau misalnya kita bisa saling melengkapi, hasilnya keuntungannya juga buat kita semua dan buat satu tim semuanya.
Okay, so like for example, we're talking about skills. Josh, Mr. Daniel here, and Irwan and Yumir, they all each individually have their own way how to explore the technologies and how they can implement it within their skills. But what is better than that is whatever they have explored, then they will share it within among each other and see if they already expect out of it or if there's something new and see if how they can implement it in within amongst themselves or in the music that we have nowadays.
Ya, dan hal ini juga bukan berlaku ke instrumen yang sama, tapi kayak ke instrumen yang lain juga. Kalau misalnya saya ngelihat sesuatu yang baru di YouTube, sound yang baru tentang bass atau cara main atau pedal yang baru, dan saya share ke Rean. Tujuannya apa? Biar Rean mainnya juga tambah bagus dan keuntungannya buat yang lain, kita bisa sama-sama explore yang baru.
So it's not applied to just the same instruments, but it can cross platforms and cross instruments. If he would have found something on YouTube, maybe about a new instrument or new sound on a bass, then he would tell Ryan about it and see if he can explore. At the end of the day, it benefits the whole team. It benefits to the whole team. Yeah.
Yeah. At least terakhir balik lagi kuncinya. Kalau mau share skill itu kita nggak boleh sombong, nggak boleh merasa lebih tahu dari yang lain. Saya sebagai musik director juga di youth kadang-kadang ada beberapa spot yang kayak kesalahan-kesalahan yang nggak saya lihat gitu. Dan Rean salah satu orang yang paling berani dan paling sering ngasih tahu saya. Dan saya bersyukur buat hal itu dan pastinya saya harus menerima itu buat kebaikan saya, buat kebaikan satu tim semua.
And also in this matter, you can't present yourself as to someone who's being senior to any other instruments or someone as your friends or within the team, and that you shouldn't be proud. You should bring some humility in whenever you share. And the point, for example, that you are not acting as if you know it all, but you want to share. And in that instance, say for example, he is a music director in the youth team, Josh. And there would have to be someone, and Ryan is that person who can say or criticize what he's doing wrong and some spots that he's doing wrong in the team.
Yeah.
So that's.
Thank you. Wow, that's great. That's great. Two more questions. One question in the back.
3, 4.
Wow, okay, we'll take these 4 questions and then we call it a... Wait, let's come, Bucks. Say your name and your...
Okay, hi. My name is Bucks. I'm from DUMC Bahasa Service.
Please ask in Bahasa.
Yeah, so I just want to ask, we have this, I don't call it problem, it's a challenge. We have a limited resource of musicians, which is you might see every week the same person who are playing. So what we do when you do the auditions and all that, and then there is people who are willing to serve with less skill and less anointing. So we are thinking about giving them trainings and all that. But again, it's the serving things, and we need time and we need manpower. So at the moment, we don't have that. So how do you experience, I mean, from your past experience, I know you don't have this problem, but in the past experience, how do you mentor these people? How do you lead them or usher them? Okay, you better do part or other things in the ministries. Thank you.
So where, Mr. Sidney?
Sebentar dikit ya. Kita dalam pelayanan untuk praise and worship.
Specifically talking about praise and worship ministry.
Yang paling penting apa yang kita punya dulu.
The most important is what we have right now.
Tuhan tidak mengharuskan kita harus perfect.
God does not require us to be perfect.
Apa yang kita punya Tuhan senang.
What we have, God is happy about it.
Ya, jadi kita nggak harus untuk jadi perfect.
Yeah, we're not meant to be perfect.
Jadi kita melayani apa yang kita punya.
So we serve with what we have.
Tapi ada bahayanya, jangan karena statement itu jadi tidak mau belajar maju seperti
But then there's a danger within that statement where if you are revolving around that, then you are too comfortable within that statement.
Dan Tuhan akan senang dalam proses kita belajar untuk jadi lebih baik.
And God is happy with the process that we have as we trying to achieve to be better.
Ya, seperti itu. Sid, boleh?
As what Daniel said, you know, God is always interested in what you have, not what you don't have. And the question of, you know, less skilled or less anointed, I'm always very careful about saying things like that. You know, that this person is less anointed than me or less skilled than me. Because to tell you the truth, if I have to be honest, I'm the least skilled out of all these guys. I'm the one I don't have a musical background. I don't know how to read the notes. I can't read music. So everything I do is self-taught. But so I never discount people and saying that, you know, they're just not skillful enough to be in the team. And I think at the end of the day, it's just, you know, with whatever you have, especially if you're in the leadership position, that you just kind of have to set the example no matter what. That as long as you care for the people, as I shared yesterday, when we focus more on their talents and not on the person, we already lost the person. So love the person, love the people first. That they're willing to volunteer to play every Sunday. For me, that's worth more than 10 skillful and professional musicians that says, I want to come and play, but only when I have the time. Does that make sense? In our 16, 17 years of being a church, we've had plenty of those kind of musicians that are incredibly skillful musicians, but they just don't have the heart for the team. They just, like, you know, whenever I have the time, you kind of have to fit into my schedule, where we cannot function like that in the church. So people who says, like, I remember when Josh said that the first audition, he didn't make it, he didn't pass. Compared to other guitarists who pass with flying colors during audition, but then never show up at rehearsals, never show up at team building nights, never show up at our fellowships. Which one do you think I would pick? Of course, I would pick people like Josh, who, quote unquote, at the time was less skillful, but have the commitment, have the passion, have the fire to get better. Because you can always learn skill. It's something that's, you just go into YouTube, how to be a better guitar player, you'll learn it if you are disciplined enough. You can learn every craft. So, but in terms of attitude, passion, heart for the house, that's something that has to be caught, not taught. So whatever you have right now, whether you only have, and there were times in JPCC, I remember when we didn't have any bass player whatsoever, like none. Because, you know, no one wanted to audition as a bass player. It's just not cool enough to be a bass player for some reason. So we had to use our keyboard player, you know, being the bass on the left hand and just chords on the right. And that was fine, and God moved anyway. You know, we didn't stop being a church. And so things like that. I remember we had times when transition, we didn't have a good enough drum players. You know, the drummer would always play backwards. You know, the snare would be the kick would be the snare, and it'd be like, tak, tuk, tak, tuk. It's like, no, stop. You know, we actually had to do that quite a few times. And, you know, but I think, again, as leadership, Pastor Jeffrey was never the kind of pastor to say, I want a perfect service every single time. So we learned from our leadership that those are minor things in the light of building a team and building a church. Those are just minor details. But throughout the years, and as we develop the skills and the excellence, we draw people with excellence more and more. So nowadays we just have enough people within the team. But whatever you have in your hands right now, God says, give it to me. Two fish, 5 loaves, and He will multiply it. It's not you will multiply it. He will multiply it. Is that cool? All right.
Next question of 1 out of 4 now, so 3 more to go. Faith, yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes. A friend of mine wanted to ask this. Basically, as
Okay, where's the friend?
He's here. Yeah. Yeah. Basically, as someone who serves in the worship team, you will often be told that you shouldn't listen to secular music because it doesn't glorify God, and music is meant to glorify God. So, what is your opinion on that?
Ya, musik sekuler ya.
Silakan Om.
Ya. Sebenarnya nggak ada bilang musik sekuler dan musik rohani.
So the truth be told is there is no distinction between the secular music and Christian music.
Deng. Ya. Itu hanya perbedaan dengan lirik aja.
It is just a difference between lyrics.
Yang penting itu yang mainnya siapa.
The most important part is who is playing or singing that song.
Ya, seperti kita pisau bisa dipakai untuk membunuh.
The same thing like a knife, it can be used to kill.
Dan pisau bisa juga untuk memasak.
And we can use it to cook.
Jadi tergantung siapa yang megang.
So whoever wields that.
Demikian juga musik seperti itu.
So therefore it's the same within music.
Jadi, cukup
so that's explanatory.
Good answer.
Short
and succinct. Yes. Yeah.
There's a verse that says that everything under heaven. Okay, maybe I should put it this way. Do we believe that God is the creator of all things? Yes or no? Yes. Now, do we believe that Satan can create anything? Now, Pastor Joey yesterday said it, you know, Satan's vision statement or mission statement is to steal, kill, and destroy, never to create. He cannot create. Only God can create. He is first and foremost God, our creator. That's his first name. Before he was called anything else, he was called God the creator. So creativity comes from God. Now, music comes from God. And I say music, I mean all music. What Satan can do is to steal and pervert it. That's the only thing he can do. But that question is not just about music, isn't it? That if he can pervert music, then he can pervert fashion, he can pervert television shows, he can pervert anything in this whole earth, he can pervert. So why do we always stop only on music? I remember there was one worship clinic and a person asked, why are you all dressed so secularly like the world? And my question was, how are we supposed to dress? I don't have wings yet. I'm not an angel. I don't have a halo. I don't know what heaven looks like, where people, what people dress up in heaven like. So how am I supposed to dress like? And it's the same question as we talk about. And I always believe in the verse that greater is he that is in, that is in me than he that is in the, greater is who that is in me? He. Are you sure about that? Yeah. Then why are we so scared with the devil when the Bible clearly says, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world? So I'm never scared of, we can't go around in the mall, we go to Bukit Bintang and we hear, a singer comes up and it would be like, oh, Shikyara Baralaraba Shandara, Horababa Soko, Spirit of the Lord, and we cover our ears because, oh, it's the devil. Why are we so scared about that when the Bible clearly says, greater is he that is in me? So when we listen to music, when we listen to all kinds of beautiful music, there are so many different beautiful music in this world. But the thing is this, as I said earlier, it's not about whether you can or you cannot, but the question is more, is it wise? Is it a good input or not? What Andre said, whatever you put in, it will come out. It's just nature. So supernaturally and naturally, what do we put in? If we listen to junk, guess what's gonna come out? It's gonna be junk. So it's not a question whether you can or cannot, but the question is, should you? Do you have to? You don't have to. And if you know that, and that's a question of maturity more than anything. As parents, we do this with our children. We tell them, don't touch the fire, right? But we don't have to tell Pastor Gilbert, please don't touch the fire. It's gonna burn. Why? Because he's mature enough to understand the danger. Is this making sense? So I'm very weary. I'm very, very careful in telling our team, do not do this or do not do that. Because for me, it's not a question about, don't wear jeans. If you wear jeans, you're gonna go to hell. Because believe it or not, 25 years ago, that's what church leaders would tell us. See, you guys don't want to believe this, but 25 years ago, I was not allowed to wear jeans. Why? Because jeans are secular, which is weird, isn't it? So, yeah, hopefully that kind of answers your question a bit. Cool?
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Christina from DUMC, okay? I know today we are talking about worship and music and all that. My question is, our God is a creative God. Now, does your church embrace other creative art forms as part of worship? And if you do, how do you use it to enhance worship rather than prettying up your performance or just using it as part of entertaining? I'm talking more like dance or flags and even, drawing art on the side, yeah.
So I just spoke to our creative performing arts a couple of weeks ago, and yes, to make it short, yes, we do have other performing arts, creative arts, dance. We don't have flags or tambourines because I think it's just a matter of we know who we are and we know who we are not. So right from the beginning, we know that we don't have people within the team that does tambourine and flags and all that stuff, but there's a lot of people who are in the ballet, in the modern dance, and those are the people that we put in the performing arts. And the question about entertainment is that's something that you can't really see, because that's more about motivation, whether you're on that platform to entertain or whether you are there to worship God. I can't judge that, you know, and I don't think we should either, because that's between God and them, right? And the Holy Spirit can see their heart or not. But as a leader, the only thing I could do is set an example for them, that every time I'm on that platform, I'm going to give 100%. Not that I look good or so that people can see me or hear me, but so that I could please God no matter what, and in everything that I do. So if I consistently show that and set an example to that, to the team, I think they get it, you know. After once in a while, they'll get it that, oh, this is not about entertainment. This is not about trying to look cool playing my guitar or trying to play my instruments or singing, but it's actually about worshiping God. Because I mean, we've had people within our team that's just very showy, you know, like when every time they go on the platform, they're there. They want to steal the spotlight. But I don't try to scold them or like pull them aside, because I think after a while they kind of see like, okay, maybe I should kind of dial it down a little bit. So we always try to do it by inspiration, not by just telling people what to do. So yeah. Good question. Thank you.
Thank you. Last question. Last question. No.
Raise their hand early. Nobody?
Yeah, sure, go ahead, yeah.
Let's close in Jesus' name.
Quick one. Okay, I'm not sure how it works, but following up on the question, because it just came to me, about, I don't know whether it's a big thing in Indonesia, but here in KL, in Malaysia, there's a big wave, the Back to Jerusalem thing with the shofars, the ram's horns. Okay, are you guys familiar with that?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
We just sample it and put it in the computer.
I'm envious, but yeah. So you guys don't have live?
No.
You are very blessed then. Okay. Then, but how do you incorporate? Would you think, how would you incorporate instruments like this? Because my main thing is I'm a musician and I'm a worship leader. I'm going like, it's not in tune with my songs.
Well, I mean, okay. We in our church we were taught that in everything that we do there has to be a purpose for it. So just doing things just for the sake of doing it never works for us. It's not even in our DNA. It's not even in our culture. It's like when people say, let's do a shofar, for what purpose? So that we sound more like Jewish people. But why? You know, so everything that we do, when we're doing any projects or writing songs or, you know, making arrangements, musical arrangements, or any kind of performance, we always ask the question, why? If nobody can answer that question, why, then why do it? Like what Pastor Jeffrey said yesterday, was it yesterday or today, this morning? The whole idea is so that you are fruitful. There has to be a change. If it works back in the day, it doesn't mean that it should work today. Okay, good example. Moses, as a leader, he was using his rod, right? And then he passed the leadership baton to, are we all Christian here? Joshua, right? He gave his leadership mantle to Joshua. Now, how did Joshua lead? He wasn't using the same rod that Moses was using. He was leading with the sword. So in that sense, a lot of us, I don't know why, a lot of churches do things because everybody else is doing it. That's why I said in the beginning, I said, as a church, we know who we are and we know who we are not. We're not the kind of church and praise and worship team that uses shofar or uses tambourines and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying that that's just not who we are. right? So within our leadership, we always ask that question, why are we doing it? Why are we still doing that? Do we have to keep doing that? Or maybe not. Let's scrap that program. So it's the same thing. Whatever you guys are doing as a team, ask that question. Why are we doing it? Are we doing this because the last generation was doing it? Or is there a purpose behind it? If there is a purpose behind it, go for it. But if there's not, why do you want to do it? Right? But that's different in every DNA of a church. Remember, we are a body of Christ. The Bible calls it the body of Christ for a purpose. It's not there by accident. Why? Because our body have different organs and different functions. So why are we all trying to look like the nose? Can you imagine if the whole body is just the nose, right? And it's just we're gonna look like monsters. So we got to play our part. So we know who we are. We know the kind of music that we like. We know the kind of arrangements that we like. We know the kind of instruments that we like to implement and not. I remember there was a time a few years back when everything we did was all strings. We had 42 string orchestra. We had strings in every song. But then for the next project, we're like, are we going to do that? Maybe not. We don't have to. We don't have to keep repeating the same pattern and everything. There's a season for everything. So yeah. So that's just so far, but it could translate to so many other things. Cool?
Thank you, everybody. Let's give them a hand for their time and their answers.